If you've got about 25 grand to spend on a sailboat, the question most people ask is pretty simple. Are you buying something genuinely capable, or are you buying some problems? Because at this price point, there's a lot of inventory that looks pretty good in photos and then slowly unravels the moment you start digging into it. But every once in a while, you come across a boat that challenges that assumption, a boat that suggests that you can, in fact, buy something that's well built, good sailing, and genuinely usable without stepping into the six-figure territory. The Sabre 34 Mark II is one of those boats. There's currently a Sabre 34 for sale in Georgia for $28,000, and it's a good example of what's out there if you know what you're looking for. Pop Yachts, who we're using for some of the B-roll in this video, has actually had 3 of these things that have come through recently, so they're not impossible to find. These things turn up on the market. And the reason this boat is interesting is not just the price, it's the pedigree behind the price. Saber Yachts was founded in 1970 in Maine, and from the beginning, their focus was on building higher quality production boats, not custom one-offs, but boats that sat a level above the average production builder in terms of finish and structure and overall fiberglass execution. That reputation still follows these boats today. Even older Sabres like this tend to feel more solid and more carefully put together than many of their contemporaries. The Sabre 34 itself was originally introduced in the 1970s, but the version we're looking at here, the Mark II, came along in 1986. And this is an important distinction because the Mark II is not just an update to the old boat. It's a substantially redesigned boat altogether. They changed the hull, the dimensions, and the interior layout. It's essentially a new design that carries forward the old name. Production ran from 86 through about 91, with 170 of these boats being built. That puts it in a nice middle ground. There are enough of them out there that you can find one, but not so many that they feel overly commoditized. In terms of size, the Sabre 34 Mark II comes in just over 34 feet overall, with a beam of 11 foot 2. Displacement is 11.5 with the standard keel version, and ballast is about 4,600 pounds. That gives you a ballast ratio right about 40%, which is a solid number. It translates into a boat that feels stable and reasonably stiff under sail. The sail area to displacement ratio is about 17, which puts it firmly in the moderate performance category. This is not a heavy displacement cruiser, but it's also not a lightweight racer. It's designed to sort of do both jobs reasonably well. Hull speed right around 7 knots based on that waterline of 28. In practice, that's exactly what you'd expect from a boat of this size and shape. One of the more interesting aspects of the 34 Mark II is the range of keels that it had as options. You get a deep fin version, 6 feet, or a wing keel version around 4.5 feet, and a centerboard keel configuration. This Georgia boat appears to be the keel centerboard version. With the board up, draft is around 4 feet, which opens up a lot of shallow water cruising areas. With the board down, you're closer to 7.5 feet, which gives you much better upwind performance. That flexibility is a real advantage, especially if you plan to sail on the East Coast, where shallow anchorages are common, and the rudder is hung from a skeg, where we like it. Auxiliary power is typically a Westerbeek in these things at 27 to 30 horse range. The Georgia listing says a Westerbeek 27A, which is consistent with what we expect. Fuel capacity around 30 gallons, and water is generally in the 70 to 90 gallon range, depending on the specific configuration. That's adequate for coastal cruising and short-term liveaboard use, but with the age of these boats, the tanks will need to be checked. Construction is another area where Sabre really stands out. The hull is solid fiberglass, and the deck is cored. The deck to hull joint is an inward flange design, through bolted and sealed with stainless steel hardware. It's a robust method that, when properly maintained, holds up well over the decades. Inside, the boat reflects Sabre's reputation for quality joinery. This isn't IKEA. You typically find teak interiors with a layout that includes a forward V-berth, a head just aft, a main saloon with opposite settees, and a functional galley. Many boats also included an aft cabin, which is a significant feature on a 34-footer. It's not oversized, but it's practical and well thought out. Storage is decent, ventilation is good, and the overall feel is more small yacht than entry-level cruiser. Under sail, the 34 Mark II has a strong reputation for being well balanced and predictable. It's not overly tender, it tracks well, and it responds in a way that's easy to manage for short-handed crew or solo sailing. Reviews note a fine entry forward and enough flatness aft to keep the boat moving without becoming difficult to control. It's a boat that rewards good sail trim but doesn't demand constant attention. That said, as with any boat from the 1980s, condition matters far more than design at this point. There are a few key known areas to pay attention to on this thing, and one of the most commonly discussed issues is water intrusion around the mast step. This is a keel-stepped mast, and if drainage is not properly managed, water can collect and cause damage in that area. Chainplate leaks are also another hot topic on this boat. Over time, the sealant fails and water can work its way through the bulkheads and the surrounding structure. Deck core issues are also possible, particularly around fittings like handrails and stanchions. Again, that's not unique to Sabre, it's something that needs to be checked carefully on every boat. Engine access on these things is often cited as less than ideal, particularly when it comes to servicing the stuffing box. It's manageable, but not especially convenient. If you're looking at a keel centerboard version like the Georgia boat, you'll also want to inspect the centerboard system. Make sure the board moves freely, the pennant is in good condition, and there are no signs of significant wear or leakage. None of these issues are unusual for a boat of this age, but they do reinforce the importance that you need a thorough survey. In terms of pricing, the 34 Mark II typically falls between about 20 grand on the low end to up to 50 grand for a really nice version with updated technology. The Georgia boat at $28,900 sits right in the middle of the whole range. It's not so cheap that you assume it's just a pile of problems, but it's also not priced as a fully refit example. It appears to be a usable, middle-of-the-road boat, which is often exactly what buyers at this price point are looking for. So, is it possible to get a good sailboat for less than 25 grand? Yes, but with some important caveats. You're not buying new systems, and you're not buying perfection like new sails and brand new standing rigging. What you're buying is a well-designed, well-built platform that has stood the test of time so far. If that platform has been maintained properly, and if you're prepared to address the typical age-related issues, this boat can represent excellent value. The Sabre 34 Mark II fits that description really well. It's suitable for a couple or small family or someone solo with the added benefit of decent sailing performance. It's also a good option for someone who values build quality and a more traditional interior. It's less suited to someone looking for maximum interior volume or a completely maintenance-free experience. But for the right buyer, this is a boat that offers a lot of capability for the money they're asking. And it's a clear example that even in today's market, you can still find a genuinely good sailboat in that $25,000 range. You just have to be selective, do your homework, and focus on boats that were built well to begin with. Because when you start with a solid design and good construction, even a 35-year-old boat can still deliver a very worthwhile ownership experience. And if you like these mid-sized boats, you might also like this article that we have called Island Packet Estero Used Boat Review. Island Packet's Shoal Draft Estero trades V-berth and cutter rig for a novel forward saloon and self-tacking sail plan, a trade-off worth examining for gunk holers and maybe great loop dreamers. This article is a great read if you have a few minutes. I'll leave a link in the description for you. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out, but also it lets YouTube know that you like sailboat videos, so it'll show you more of them. How cool is that? And hit subscribe so I can see you again next time.